She hadn't seen the depth of the hazard because it had been covered by a long, narrow snowdrift that started in a copse of sagebrush and extended 40 feet beyond in a crusty, frozen wave. The impact was hard enough when the tires dropped that a cascade of ticket books and topo maps showered down on her from where they'd been secured by a rubber band around the sun visor. Her chin hurt because she'd smacked it on the steering wheel. It happened, getting stuck in the middle of nowhere, and it occurred more frequently than any game warden would admit. The key was to figure out how they could free their vehicles without having to call for help, or worse, being photographed. Each year, the Wyoming Game Warden Foundation dinner featured a special PowerPoint presentation of game wardens stuck in their vehicles. It elicited lots of guffaws. Caitlin wanted to be one of the laughers, not the laughees. She tried to rock the truck forward and back, hoping the tires would grind through the snow and grab a bite of dirt that would launch her out. But the more she rocked, the deeper the tires dug in. Caitlin struggled into her parka inside the cab and jammed a green Stormy Cromer wool cap on her head, then tucked her auburn hair into the collar of her coat so the cold winter wind wouldn't whip her eyes with it. The hem of the parka gathered over the grip of her holstered .40 Glock. She grimaced as she circled the vehicle, and not just from the wind. The tires were deep in the ditch, and the front bumper was perched on the edge of it. The friction of her spinning front tires had glazed the snow and melted it down enough that they spun freely and could grip nothing. In the gearbox in the bed of her unit, she had 2 shovels, one with a sharp blade and the other squared off, and she could try to start digging, but the ground was still frozen solid. It might take her hours. She could call dispatch and request a tow truck from town 18 miles away, but that would take hours as well, provided the driver could even find her in such a remote location, GPS coordinates or not. And would he have a phone or camera to document her situation? Of course he would. Well, damn, she said to herself. The wind whipped her words away. She'd heard too many times that there weren't actually 4 seasons in the Rocky Mountains, but 3: summer, winter, and mud. That was true enough, though there was the possibility of snow at elevation every month of the year. What that canard didn't account for was that no matter what the weather, the conditions, and snowpack, she still had hard calendar dates she had to consider in order to do her job. There was a rhythm to it. Hunting season openers started with archery in the early fall through the last rifle seasons in December. Herd classification assessments of elk, deer, and pronghorn antelope took place in December and January. Checking up on local licensed trappers in the deep winter took her through late March, and checking fishing licenses lasted all summer. Interspersed throughout were mandated reports for headquarters in Cheyenne, regional training days in Cody, and various assistance requests not only from other game wardens, but from local law enforcement, state troopers, and investigators. Shed war season had become more exciting since the price for elk antlers had gone up to around $15 per pound, and mule deer antlers up to $10 to $12. That meant a set from a mature bull could fetch up to $600 from the antler man when he came to town. Deer antlers fetched $200 to $400 a set, and were later sold to furniture makers, accessory manufacturers, and Asian buyers who ground up the material into powder and sold it as an aphrodisiac. In addition,